Hello students, this is Suresh, chemistry faculty, and you are watching CCC Chemistry Concepts Clear YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to explain the laws of chemical combinations which are there in 11th class chemistry. First chapter, some basic concepts of chemistry. So without wasting time, let's start the discussion. So students, here you can see the laws of chemical combinations in which we have five laws of chemical combinations in which the first one is law of conservation of mass or matter, and the second one law of definite proportions, and third one is law of multiple proportions, and fourth one is law of reciprocal proportions or law of equivalent proportions, and fifth one is law of gaseous volumes. So let's discuss the first law, which is law of conservation of mass or matter. This law is actually proposed by Anthony Levizeur. Anthony Levizeur. And this law is further verified by Landolt. Further verified by Landolt. And this law states that during physical or chemical change, the total mass of the products is equal to the total mass of the reactants. That means the total mass of the reactants is equal to the total mass of the products. So I hope you have understood this law, and let's apply this law to a particular reaction. As we know, each and every reactions in which reactants gets converted into products. Here, for example, reactant A reacts with B to give product C and D. So as we know, according to law of conservation of mass, the total mass of the reactants is equals to the total mass of the products. Here, according to this law, we can write for this equation, that is total mass of reactants is nothing but mass of A plus mass of B equals to total mass of products is nothing but mass of C plus mass of D. I hope you understood this well. And as I said here, this law is verified by Landolt scientist. So how he has verified? He has verified by taking an experiment in which 100 grams of mercuric oxide, and he has heated it. He got mercury separately plus oxygen. So in which he got 92.6 grams of mercury and 7.4 grams of oxygen, and he applied the law of conservation of mass, that is the total mass of the reactants, which is nothing but 100 grams, is equals to the total mass of the products, that is 92.6 grams plus 7.4 grams, in which we would get the 100 grams is equals to, again, the 92.6 grams plus 7.4 grams will give 100 grams. So from this observation, he has verified the total mass of the reactants is equals to total mass of the products, and he has concluded that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, which means mass we cannot create and we cannot destroy the mass. And in this law, we can replace the mass with matter, because matter is nothing but anything which having some mass, which occupies some space, is called as matter. So if we replace mass word with matter, this law becomes the law of indestructibility of matter. Here also it means we cannot create the matter and we cannot destroy the matter. So let's see a problem to get more clarity about this law. In this, the problem in which 10 grams of calcium carbonate on heating gave 4.4 grams of carbon dioxide. Then calculate how many grams of calcium oxide is formed. So let's see. So according to the data given, that is, they have taken 10 grams of calcium carbonate and they have heated and they have got 4.4 grams of 4.4 grams of carbon dioxide, and they are asking us to calculate the grams of calcium oxide, which is, let's say, x grams. Let's say x grams. So apply law of conservation of mass to this reaction. Then the total mass of reactants, that is 10 grams, is equals to the total mass of products, which is x grams plus 4.4 grams. Then we can write x grams is equals to 10 grams minus 4.4 grams. This will give 5.6 grams. That means in this reaction 5.6 grams of calcium oxide is formed. So I hope this law is understood for you people. Then let's discuss the limitations of this law. Limitations of this law. Very, very important. This law is applicable only when the reactants are completely reacted and converted into products. That means the reaction should undergo 100% completion. Then only the reactants completely reacted and get converted into products. In such cases only this law of conservation of mass can be applicable. But in case of reactants are not completely reacted, then the law of mass of conservation is not applicable. Then in that case the total mass of the reactants is not equals to total mass of the products. That means then the relation becomes, and we can write the total mass of reactants is equals to total mass of products and plus masses of the uh, unreactants, unreacted reactants. This is very, very important. This is the one of the limitation for the law of conservation of mass. And the second limitation, which is also very, very important limitation, that is, this law is also not applicable in case of nuclear reactions where nucleus is involved in the reactions, in which what happens, the total mass of the reactants is not equals to again total mass of the products, which is the total mass of reactants is greater than that of total mass of the products. Very, very important. But here the difference in mass, the difference in mass is nothing but the difference in mass of reactants as well as products is converted into energy form, that is according to Einstein equation, which is E equals to del mc square, where del m is the difference in mass of reactants and products, is called mass defect. So I hope you have got good clarity about this concept, and this law of conservation of mass and its limitations. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks for my subscribers. And again, please do like videos, comment videos, and share these videos to your friends. Thank you. Thanks a lot.